Hello, my name is Ruben Cardoso and I am part of Pribaran's team. I'm here to present Pribaran's participation at the BioAsk task Mesinesp. The Mesinesp task consists in automatically indexing abstracts of medical articles in Spanish with labels from a pool of about 33,000 hierarchically structured medical terms, the DEX codes. Here on the right we have an example where we can see for a given abstract the most suitable DEX codes. This is an extreme multi-level classification problem. Our goal is to predict, for a given article, the most relevant subset of labels from an extremely large label set. We have explored for this task several models. A one versus rest support vector machine, due to its efficiency, a KNN-based search engine, Pribaran Search, because it does not require training, various classifiers leveraging BERT's contextualized embeddings in the hopes of achieving performance gains, and finally, an ensemble with an SVM algorithm to see how these different models can complement each other. Our first model, the support vector machine, was trained with a one versus rest strategy. We train an independent support vector machine classifier for each possible label. To reduce the computational expensiveness of such strategy, we only consider labels with a frequency above 20, which decreases the label set size to about 9,200 labels, giving us a maximum recall of 97%. We used as features the abstract's term frequency inverse document frequency and trained the model with the typical max margin loss. Our second model, Pribaran Search, is a customized search engine based on inverted indexing and retrieval with the Okapi BM25 algorithm. We use the k-nearest neighbors algorithm to obtain the set of k-indexed articles that are closest to our query article in feature space. This similarity is based on the frequency of words, lemmas and root words, as well as label semantics and synonyms. Then, a score is assigned to each one of these articles, alpha, and to each one of their labels, beta. A weighted sum of these scores yield a final score for each one of the labels, and a simple score threshold is used for the decision. We then experiment with a pre-trained model. BITO. So BITO is essentially a BERT-based model trained with Spanish corpora, and we use it to obtain an embedding for each one of our abstracts. We start off with our abstract, preceded by the typical CLS token used with the BERT architecture, and we then pass it through our BITO and obtain the embedding corresponding to the CLS token. So this embedding represents all our abstract, and we can then use that representation in several different classifiers. We have performed an additional step of training on top of the original BITO weights. So starting from these original BITO weights, we further trained this model with the task of masked language modeling on the corpus composed by all the articles in the training set. This results in more meaningful contextualized representations for this medical corpus, whose domain-specific language might differ from the original pre-training corpora. Then, based on this encoding, we tested several different classifiers. Our first classifier consists of a simple linear layer mapping BERT's pooled output to the label space. So we start with our abstract, preceded by the CLS, and we feed it to our BERT model, BITO in this case, and extract the embedding corresponding to the CLS token. Then this embedding is fed to a dimension-preserving linear layer with a 10H activation and a dropout. And this final representation is our pooled output, which will also be useful in the following models. For this first classifier, we simply feed this representation onto a linear layer which projects it onto the decision space. And we then can obtain label scores for each one of our labels. Our second model is a bit more complex. We consider a continuous representation for each label and a key query value attention mechanism. So we use as queries our pooled outputs corresponding to the abstract's representation, and as keys and values our label embeddings. This gives us a label attentive representation, which we then add to our original pooled output, and this new representation is once again fed into a linear layer which acts as the classifier. For both of these models, we minimize binary cross entropy to allow for multi-label classification. Our third and last model based on BERT embeddings uses a gated recurrent units layer to predict the article's labels sequentially until a stop label is predicted. So we start off again with our pulled output and perform the attention over label embeddings as we have done in the previous model. And we then add these two representations to obtain our new abstracts representation. Then the key part of this model is the gated recurrent unit layer, which sequentially predicts the different labels suitable to this abstract. So its input is the concatenation of the abstract's representation with its last hidden state, which encodes a representation of the last predicted label. Then the new hidden state of this GRU represents the following predicted label. And this way we can loop within this GRU and obtain the several sequential labels for this abstract. At the end, again, a final linear layer acts as classifier. For this model, we also minimize the binary cross-entropy loss. However, we follow two approaches. On the first approach, bag of labels loss, all labels are sequentially predicted, and the loss is computed only after the stopping label is predicted. This means that the loss value is independent of the prediction order and only takes into account the final set. As we can see here, we only compare the final set of predicted labels with a set of gold labels. On the other hand, the iterative label loss uses an iterative loss which is computed at each step of the sequential prediction of labels. This means that at each time step, we compare each predicted label with its corresponding golden label. We then compute the loss and add it to a running loss value. As we can see here, for each time step, we compute this loss, which is a result of the correspondence between the prediction and the specific gold label. For these models, we need a specific label ordering, and we have tested two orderings, ascending and descending frequency on the training set. We've also developed a masking system to force the sequential prediction according to the chosen order. Then our final model is an ensemble that combines the result of the previously described SVM, pre-Beran search, and BERT with GRU models. The goal is to leverage the label scores yielded by these three individual models. We used an SVM rank algorithm whose features are the standardized scores yielded by these models, and then this algorithm yields a score for each label. And again, a score threshold is used to make the decision. Now, on to the results. The first thing we can see here in the results is the impact of our extra step of masked language modeling on the MES-INESP corpus. So from these two lines, we can see that this extra step had a positive impact. And since it is advantageous for our micro F1 scores, we decided to employ it for all the remaining models. Then we can see that the label attentive BERT model shows a negligible impact on performance when compared with a simple linear model. Now, on to the GRU results. We can clearly notice that the bag of labels loss outperformed the iterative labels loss, but with a bit more detail, we can see that for the bag of labels loss, the ordering of labels with ascending frequency outperforms the opposite order, and the use of masking actually quite considerably decreases this performance. For the iterative label loss, the opposite happens. So the ordering of labels with ascending frequency outperforms the opposite order, and the use of masking considerably improves the results. From this table, we can conclude that the best classifier to use with the BERT embeddings is the GRU network trained with the bag of labels loss in ascending frequency order. Now we can compare these results with the remaining models, and the first thing we can notice is that our one versus rest SVM outperforms the KNN based pre-Beran search, mostly due to its much higher recall. Then, surprisingly, the BERT model actually performs worse on the test set than our SVM, despite their very similar micro F1 scores on the development set. And of course, the best performing model was our SVM rank ensemble, which was able to outperform all the individual models. Here we can see these results with a bit more detail. We also show the macro scores, and we show our ranking within the MESINESP competition for each one of our models and for each one of the metrics. Once again, we can notice that the SVM shows the highest recall scores for both micro and macro metrics. And very interestingly, we can see that the performance gain that makes the SVM rank ensemble the best model is directly caused by its much higher precision scores. So as we can see, the precision that we achieved with the ensemble is much higher than the precision of the individual models. To conclude, we tested 3 types of extreme multi-label classifiers: an SVM, a KNN-based search engine, and a series of BERT-based classifiers. We concluded that the SVM model shows the best performance on micro and macro recall metrics, and that the best classifier to use with BERT embeddings is the GRU model with a bag of labels loss. Finally, the SVM rank ensemble achieved the highest microF1 score of almost 0.41, making it the 6th best model in the task. As a future work, we would like to explicitly leverage the DEX code's hierarchical structure, which we did not have the opportunity to do during this task. Thank you for listening.